What's the most expensive mistake you've ever made? When I was welding. 1. Screwed up a $65,000 door. 2. May or may not have blown a hole in a $1 million plus missile launching platform. Edit. So people want to know. The $65,000 door was an EMP/RF and ballistic door. The damage happened when I was using a die grinder to clear a bit of solder in a tube that ran through the door for some electrical. The bit grabbed and twisted the tubing and ripped it out. No way to fix it other than scrap the door. 2. The launch module I was welding, and on the job site there's a jungle of welding leads running everywhere, close to 20 machines. Well, mine was set good but my buddy's wasn't. He just raced his leads to a wrong machine and ended up cranking mine up way too hot while I was mid-weld. I was able to fix said hole and patch it up with no defects or such. Hope that clears things up. Oh, and yes, I'm still a certified welder, just decided to do a career change for other reasons. Not wearing my retainer after getting braces removed. Wear your retainers, people. I made the same mistake. My grandparents paid for the mass amount of work that had to be done, so I feel extra guilty. Joined the army right out of high school and stopped wearing my retainer. By the time I got a new one, my wisdom teeth came in sideways and fucked up all that work. Had I just worn it like I was supposed to, I wouldn't be pushing 30 and considering braces again. Had a part-time job as a teenager at a Yamaha dealership that sold dirt bikes, ATVs, motorcycles. I was told one day to deliver a Raptor to some address. Well, I loaded the ATV up on the trailer and took off in the truck down the road. I noticed that the truck was low on gas, so I pulled over and filled her up. I made it about 1.5 miles down the road and the truck started running funny and eventually cut off. I had put gasoline in a diesel truck. I was fired about 4 days later. We did this in Iceland. In a 2017 rental. To say that was an expensive mistake is an understatement. Not me, but my best mate made a doozy. He was in a bit of a rush to buy himself a car. He had a nice little nest egg of $20,000 put aside just for this purchase. He did a bunch of private inspections around our area, but he just couldn't find one he wanted. He finally stumbled across the perfect car for him. Great mileage, all-country driving, full service history and in excellent condition. The only problem? The buyer was on the other side of the country. For whatever reason, my mate decided to contact the dude and organize the purchase. After the money transferred, the ad disappeared and so did the car owner. I just have no idea what was going through my mate's head. It has been 5 years and they never caught the fraudster, and my friend never got his $20K back. TL. Doctor, don't ever buy a car without inspecting it, and don't treat private car sales like a drunk Amazon purchase. Freshman year of college, I thought my final exam was at 11:30. It was at 9:30. The exam was 40% of my grade, so I failed. I lost my scholarship, and had to pay to retake the class. Wow. I missed a final too. Thought it was the next day. Somehow the professor let me come to her office the next morning to take it. I think she only docked me 2/3 of a letter grade, which in retrospect was pretty amazing. I actually forgot about this for 15 years until I read your post. I bought a business. Turns out I'm not all that great at being a business owner. What kind of business and why is it failing? Always been curious about owning a business. It's a distribution warehouse and it's actually not failing because all of the previous employees, including the previous owner, stayed on board. I just quite often feel that being a business owner isn't the right career path for me, but it's not a job that you can just quit. I paid several $1,000s to have the backyard fenced in. 2 months after the job was complete and paid for, a neighbor complained that the fencing was about 2 inches onto his property and that it had to be removed, even though the fencing contractor said it had been done strictly according to a survey he had procured. Turned out the neighbor was correct. By the time it was determined, the fencing contractor had gone out of business. If he was covered by any kind of professional indemnity insurance for the period the work was performed, you may still be able to make a claim. It might be worth finding out. Buying a $2,500 couch as a college student. Why? Was it at least a good couch? It is, excellent. I'll sell it to you for $2,500. Bad time during life and thought buying a new sports car would solve my internal issues. It didn't, and I was stuck with a debt. It was sweet to drive and I loved the looks it got, but it did little to resolve my actual problems. I paid it off and sold it 3 years later for a net $30,000 loss. Edit. Lots of people asking about the car. It was a 2007 Porsche Boxster. Just realized that some of the people with nice things might just be in debt and not rich. I was driving down the street and a woman blew a kiss at me from a bus passing by. I leaned over to my friends to say, "Hey guys. Did you just see that?" She blew me a crash, ran into the little VW Fox in front of me, and then he rammed the Audi in front of him. That sucked. I totally destroyed the VW. 3 words. University of Phoenix ITT Technical Institute. I was 18 and my parents drove me there cause they wanted me to go to college after a failed semester at a local community college. $50,000 later and the school doesn't even exist anymore. I don't even bother listing my education on my resumes because it's just a shame at this point. I graduated in like 2010, so I don't even qualify for the loan forgiveness crap they did with the newer students while the school closed. I bent a pin on my new motherboard when trying to insert a CPU. Was the pin on the CPU connector? If it was just a jumper pin, you can normally just bend it back in place or solder on a new one. Yep, a vital one as far as I could tell. It was over a year ago. My first trick. $100,000 on 2 degrees. First was $60,000, and was basically useless due to a combo of the job market when I graduated, 5 people per 1 job, and not working while taking classes. Second was $30,000 more and $10,000 in interest since the old ones were deferred too long. Then I found out, as I'm about to graduate, that the state can cover my tuition as part of rehab/job training due to disability. I finally got a real career-oriented job in my field. And 9 months in, my vision deteriorated to the point I'm on long-term disability and no job. Getting involved with an alcoholic. Thinking I could change them. Spent about $20,000 in rehab fees for her. She was drinking within 3 hours of checking out. I honestly had no idea that she even drank until we lived together. Alcoholics are fucking excellent liars. Grabbed the wrong briefcase from my office while I was rushing to the airport. It had a loaded Walter P99 in it. $5,000 fine from the TSA, but it was bumped down to $3,000 because I paid within 30 days. Really stupid of me to say the least. I hate it when I accidentally grab the assassination job briefcase when I really needed the spy gadget briefcase. I was traveling across the states with my friends and 6 days in we got to Miami. We got drunk in Wet Willie's and met a couple girls and we decided, at 3 a.m., it was a good idea to go skinny dipping. We all got naked and ran into the sea, leaving everything on the beach. We got out of the sea after f***ing around for a while and someone had stolen all our stuff. They took everything. I lost my wallet, with $300 in it, my iPhone, my passport and not to mention all of my clothes. We all had to run back to our hostel naked, which was a good mile away. Still got laid. But I'm an idiot. Married my college girlfriend. Turns out the things you look for in a woman at 19 get old as hell at 35. She was a stay-at-home mom who didn't want to mother. So I bit the bullet and left with my daughter. Cost me well over $700,000 and counting, but I have my kid and she's worth every penny. I accidentally left an Asiatic lily plant out in my apartment when I went to work. When I came home, I noticed my cat had chewed a bunch of leaves off of it, and possibly swallowed some. I immediately looked it up online and saw that lilies are extremely toxic to cats. They can cause kidney failure from ingesting only a small amount. I had to rush him to a 24-hour emergency vet, where he had to be treated with high volumes of fluid via for 48 hours. My big floof made it out alive and I couldn't have been happier he was okay, but the whole ordeal cost me close to $3,000. Thanks for watching. Please, feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe.